All right, today we're going to be installing the Pace Edwards full metal Jackrabbit Tonneau cover in a 2017 plus SuperDuties. So this is a 2017 Ford SuperDuty. It's a single rear wheel. We're going to be installing it in the back of the truck today. The first thing we really need to focus on is it starts before you open the box. When it shows up, it'll be in two separate boxes here. Make sure that you don't just rip and tear these boxes open. You're actually going to use this larger box during the install. So that will be used inside of the bed of your truck during the install to help make install easier. So when you get everything out of the box, disassemble it as much as you can without having to tear or cut any part of the box. Okay, from the smaller box, you remove these two rails. They are marked. This one is marked right. That's going to go on your passenger side. This front one is marked left. That's going to go on your driver's side. So before you do that, before we mount these up, you'll need to remove this paper. There's no sticky backing or anything. They just put this paper on there for shipping. So that's going to be your first step. Okay, once we have the rails out of the box, we have our canister here. You're going to have to remove these plywood edge pieces. These are just for shipping. There are two 10mm bolts on either side, and we're going to remove those right now. Okay, we're going to take our box that the canister came in. We're going to flip it over. Put that right down the center of the truck against the back of the bed. Once we have that done, we're going to move the canister up. We're going to set the canister on top of that so that we can install the side rails. And then we'll move on to our next step. Okay, now we've got our canister set on our box. Don't worry about the box. Some of it may collapse. We'll only need this on here a few minutes until we can install the rails, the side support rails, which is going to be our next step. One little hack to help things along is going to be to reuse those pieces of plywood that your canister was packaged with to help support this box, so the box can help kind of balance it, and each piece of the support wood on the side can help keep it level where you'll need it to install the side. Okay, we're going to be installing our first side here. We're going to be installing the left side, so this one is going to be marked left hand. And this is going to be on the driver's side. You'll notice each one of the rails has a notch cut out in it. You want this notch, if for some reason your rail isn't marked, you want this notch toward the cab of the truck. And this is where we're going to start our install. There's a starter lip right here where it's smaller than the rest of the rail, and there's the same starter lip right here. So this part right here is going to feed into this piece of bare aluminum, and this is going to feed into this bare piece of aluminum. You're going to start it, and then you're going to push it until it reaches the end of this. It may be a little dodgy on you, but after you kind of figure it out, you get the feel for it, it will work for you. Just trying to get everything lined up perfectly. There we go. We're just going to slide that as far forward as it will let us for right now. And we're going to rest this in the truck right here, and we're going to move over to the passenger side. For the passenger side, we're going to do the same exact thing. First, we're going to make sure that we have the cutout up front towards the cab. Once we know we have that, we're going to start feeding in this front lip to this piece of bare aluminum, and the same thing back here. Okay, now we've got both rails on both sides. Underneath here, there is a hole right here in the aluminum. This will match up with the hole in the rail itself. And in here, we're going to insert this screw, some of the hardware you were given. It's going to be the screw, the lock washer, the flat washer, and that is going to go right in here. So that's going to be on both the driver and passenger sides. So that's going to be your next step. Okay, the next step is you're going to install this weather stripping here, and you're going to install this on the top of the bed rail, the very front bed rail right here. When you install it, you want to install it as close to the front side of it, not as close to the cab, but you'll want it as close to the front side of it as you can get without it overlapping. In this case, I've got a bed liner sprayed on here. If you don't have a bed liner, you can just use some alcohol and a rag to clean the surface. In this case, I'm just going to use some alcohol and a toothbrush, and we're going to clean this surface right now. Okay, now we're just going to wait for that dry until we decide to install the weather stripping. Okay, we're going to take our weather stripping here, we're going to install it now that the area is clean and dry. And remember, we're trying to get it as close to the front edge as we can without going over. You can stretch this weather stripping, but there's no need to. They give you plenty of weather stripping to apply, so there's no need to try to stretch it. Since they gave us more than enough, we're just going to get a nice sharp razor blade, cut it right at the end here.
So right now we're going to cut it to the right length.
Okay, I've gotten rid of our wooden supports. We're going to lift this up, get the box out of the way. That way it can rest on the rails like it's supposed to. And then I'll show you how to measure the rails, how far from the cab the canister should be. Okay, now we're going to need to measure how far the rail is from our tailgate. So the manufacturer says that it should be 1/8 of an inch. And 1/8 of an inch is actually the width of a quarter. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a quarter in here, slip the quarter in, close it up, make sure that 1/8 inch is good there, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Good to go. Okay, next we're going to install our what they call kickstands. These will be the rails. These will be what the rails get installed on them in order to hold the rails down. So you have a total of 4 that you're going to get installed. 2 are going to be towards the front of the bed, and 2 will be towards the back of the bed. In order to install them, you're going to take one side of each of these. This will go underneath the lip of the truck bed. This will attach onto the rail of the rail itself. They'll slide in, and you'll have a screw and a few of these other pieces of hardware to install, and I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, we're going to start back here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to assemble these. This is going to go up into the lip of the truck bed. This will mount here. We're going to install these together, so that slides into there. Put that up. And there's actually, you'll see in the 4 places where they want you to put these on the rails, 2 in their back, 2 towards the front, there's a cutout here, and that's going to allow you to slide this up and on. So it's easiest to connect these first. Place this up in the lip area. You might have to finagle with it just a little bit in order to get it to allow you to put it on. It's gonna need some different angles in order to get it done. But once you work with it, you're just gonna slowly slide each piece forward until it can't slide anymore. You'll see a little piece of metal right here that is gonna stop you from sliding it forward. So we're gonna get that done really quick. Next, we're gonna be installing the kickstand. The way it comes from the factory is it's kind of the long install. So if there's a great distance between this clamp here and the bed of your truck, the sidewall of the bed of your truck, this would be perfect. However, in this case, it's not. In most of these SuperDuties, this clamp is going to be very close to the bed of your truck. So we're just going to take this little plastic piece off the end, and we're going to basically reverse the installation of this. So we're going to take this out here, and then we're just going to flip it over like this, and this will allow us to install these kickstands with the clamp being so short to the bed. Once we have that done, we'll move on to actually installing the kickstand. Okay, we're going to install the kickstand now. We're going to take it, we're going to insert this bolt into the hole here, and we want to have this up against the side of the bed. So I'm going to do that. Then we're going to put on a flat washer on the other side. We're going to put on a lock washer and then the wing nut. What this allows us to do is this controls the level. So if we want to screw this in, it will adjust the level. So it can be, you want to make sure it's level, have a level available for you to measure it. And then once you get that down, you'll be able to tighten the wing nut exactly where it's at. Once we have the wing nut installed for the kickstand, we're going to clamp the two pieces of the clamp together. So we're going to insert this through the channel there. We're going to follow that with a flat washer first, a lock washer, and then this barrel nut. Okay, we're going to do the same thing towards the front. There's another cutout notch right here. In this case, we're just going to install the clamps. There's only two kickstands. So the kickstands are for the back of the rails towards the tailgate. And we'll just do the regular install of this, just like we did there, but without the kickstand. Okay, the next step is we're going to take a 3/4 inch step drill bit, and we need to drill for our drains out of the canister here. So in this model truck, we'll be drilling into this piece right here. The drain hole is right here. We'll install this, and this will run through that 3/4 inch hole. So we'll get started doing that.
Drain tube. We'll put this into the hole that we just drilled, and then we'll put this part into the drain
In the
canister. So first we put that in.
Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side.
So we just cut our drain tube a little shorter so it could fit better, and we're just going to do the same exact thing that we did on that side.
Okay, one of our final steps is going to be we're going to place the top cap on the cover. We have 2 screws, you want to make sure that the top cover reaches the weather stripping here. So we're gonna install that there. And we're gonna do the same thing on this other side. It's got a screw in there that you have to find. Once you get it, again, the most important part here is that the edge of this reaches with the edge of this weather stripping so that no extra water or debris gets in there.
So right now we're gonna use this UV protector and wipe the top and then wipe the bottom. It's a towel. So right now we're done for this piece of Velcro. We're gonna stick it to right here for this won't be in your way.
Now we're going to test out our work. So it can retract. We can stop it midway. Stop it there. Or we can let it go the whole way. We're all done.
Thanks for watching this video, and I hope this helped you install your tonneau cover.